Hey guys, it's Ethan from Zimmer Labs, and I want to do a quick video on the two semi-high-end Kylo Ren helmets that are available out there these days. This is the Anovos Premier line, which is fiberglass. This is the Black Series, but heavily customized to be more screen accurate and just to be, souped up, so to speak. But the two have a lot of differences, and each one is kind of better for one thing or the other, but just so you guys get a feel for it, like I said, this is the Anovos one, and if you examine it all around, you see that it's, first off, it's harder, it's heavier, and it looks up close and in person, it looks a bit more realistic, as if it's actually a genuine helmet, like it would be made of metal. I mean, it's not, it's fiberglass, but it looks the part just a bit more than the Black Series, because that's made of plastic. Also, the weathering, the finish is quite different. It's a matte black finish with some transparent black gloss, lacquer or paint over it to give it kind of a weathered finish, and then obviously also all the scrapes and dings are actually painted in with some white. And then the chrome is really another big difference, where on the Black Series you see the chrome is basically flawless, with just a tiny bit of darkening by the bottom. If you look at the Anovos, the chrome is far from flawless, and it's supposed to be that way. It's weathered, so there are scratches all over the whole front end of the chrome, and there's lots of little tiny pitting marks. When I first got it, I thought that I had gotten scammed and that I had gotten a used beat up helmet, but after doing a little bit of research, I found out that that's just how they come, and that's intentional because it is supposed to be a realistic weathered helmet. So Anovos opted to do the chrome with some pitting and some damage, and it's personal preference. I myself prefer the Hasbro chrome section because it's a little bit beefier, and I like that it's not beat up and it's really shiny. But it depends what you're going for. If you want screen accuracy, this guy's going to be a bit more screen accurate. The front end, the mask part here, is made of different sections. There's the main helmet, and then there's two more sections added on, and then some additional rubber, fins or chin guard pieces, whereas this guy is just one piece. As you can see from the side here, I did do a little bit of carving into this to give it a little bit of relief to offset the pieces here, or to make it look as if there are different pieces, but it is just a single piece of plastic that goes all the way up and around, although the front halves there's a front half and a back half, but not anymore. As you can see, the seam is gone and it's now combined into one. But that's another of the main differences, is that this front piece here is a little bit less accurate and detailed. The Anovos one, as I said, is more accurate and detailed in that there are different sections here. And if you have watched the movie, which of course everyone has, this section is motorized or robotic, so that when he wants to take the helmet off, this section slides up and then the helmet comes off. So to have this as separate pieces makes it look better, more realistic, whereas this, not quite as much. But again, it's not something you're really going to notice unless you're up close and personal. The inside is padded all around. Like I said, it's a fiberglass shell, and then there's a layer of soft black felt padding, and then they give you these little pads that you can kind of arrange however you want to pad it so that it fits your person, so it fits your head and stays on nice and tight. They're not the best pads in the world. I think Anovos could have done a better job with the system that they give you to secure everything to your head, to make it a bit more stable. But they do get the job done. It's not perfect, but it works. Whereas the inside of the Black Series, again, this is totally customized, but the inside doesn't have any padding or velour or velvet, anything like that. It's just a black plastic shell, and then they give you kind of, this is not the one that comes with it. This is a Jackson Safety ratcheting suspension that I mounted in here, which is great because it locks on like rock solid. But the one that comes with the Black Series is similar. It's just a really cheap, kind of crappy version of this. But the inside, as you can see, is not nearly as finished off as the Anovos version. All of that being said, there's a reason for that. This is a $100 helmet at, manufacturer suggested retail price, $99.99, whereas this guy was a $700 helmet, or six. I think it was $700, $699.99 versus $99.99. So therein lies the main difference and reason why this guy's got more refinements and is more detailed, and this guy is fiberglass versus plastic, and this guy is less refined with less detail. But for the money, you can't beat the Black Series bang for the buck wise. The helmet itself it's about 1.5 pounds, and the Black Series is, before my additions here, probably just under 1 pound. So the Anovos is definitely heavier. As far as fitment goes, they both fit really well. They're both comfortable, especially after the upgrades I did. Visibility, the Anovos has much better visibility. When you're wearing the helmet, what you don't think of when you're thinking about getting a Kylo Ren costume is that this helmet is really gonna restrict your visibility, because the cutout for the eyes here is very small, and you don't have any, you have very little peripheral vision because the sides are blocked off. But they do a good enough job, because when you put the helmet on, your head sits right up to the front where this padding is, and your eyes are right in there, so you do actually have a pretty good range of visibility with this guy. Whereas the Black Series, as it comes, when you buy it retail straight out of the box, it's atrocious. It's got terrible, terrible visibility. This mesh piece is not there. It's a black plastic visor piece, and it's terrible. It's just cheap, clear black plastic, so it's not like a lens, not like the quality you would get out of a safety glass or ski goggles or anything like that. The optics are atrocious. But if you take that out and you put this mesh in there, then you have a nice bump, and it's significantly better. Then the other trick is, when I do these custom helmets, I always cut out the sides a bit more to give you a bit more peripheral vision. And if you look at these two guys head on side to side here, you'll notice that there's a black section here that isn't on the Hasbro version, and that's the part that I cut out that I was talking about. And just that little bit, it's about 1/4 inch, gives you 30-40% more field of vision just by removing that small little bit of plastic. And you can't tell to look at it. If you're just looking at the helmet, you really can't tell that anything's been removed as far as the plastic of the helmet. Unless somebody says, hey, check it out, I cut that section out. But now, having made these modifications, the visibility on the two are essentially equal. There really is very little difference. The only main difference between the two, visibility-wise, is that this helmet sits further forward on your head. So your eyes are not right up against this area like they are with the Anovos. Like, your eyes are really right up in there. So it's easier to see out the sides and out the front, and you're not going to see as much of this nose bridge area. This one sits a little further on your head, so your eyes are a little set back a little bit from the mesh. So it's a little bit less positive design for visibility, but not so much so that it really affects it all that much. And the offset, the plus side of that, is that as a result, it's a lot harder to see through the mesh and see your eyes and your face inside this helmet, because if they're inset just a little bit, then they're shadowed and they're in the dark, and then you can't see them. Like, unless somebody's shining a flashlight in here, you're not going to see through this mesh to see your eyes. Whereas this one it's a lot more likely that you're going to be able to see through this if you're wearing it at a convention or something, and somebody's going to look at you. If the lighting's right, they're going to see right through that and see your eyes and your nose and stuff. And so it's not a huge downside, but it is a downside. So this is just intended to be an informational video for those of you guys who are interested in getting a Kylo helmet, seeing as these really the only two high-end versions of it. I don't know if there's a third, but I would assume that maybe Todd's Costumes or one of those guys, Ruby's or something, might also make a decent version, but I've never seen it. The only two that are really, as far as I'm concerned, collectible pieces, genuine, relatively screen accurate, are these guys. So it depends on your budget. If you have a little bit of, do-it-yourself know-how, this guy is a terrific price, terrific bargain. $100 and a little bit, an afternoon of work, and you're going to get a really great helmet. This guy, you have to have the $700, available to spend on this helmet, and then the other thing is you got to find it. I think, to the best of my knowledge, they've only done one run of these, which was at least a year ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and they were all sold out, pre-ordered and sold out like instantly. And then there was supposed to be a few month wait, but it was like a year wait for these to actually get made. So they made them, they sold them, they're gone. You might be able to find one on a secondary market like eBay or Amazon or something like that, but you never really know what you're going to get. Might be used, might be new, might be an inflated price, but I know that Anovos is doing another run of them, so if you want to get in on the pre-order, they are doing it again. But again, that's a pre-order. You can't just buy it and get it. You have to wait, and who knows how long it's going to take them, because like I said the last time, the pre-order took about a year. So as far as realistically, this is out of print too, but they made a whole lot more of the Black Series ones than Anovos made of the Premier Series one. There's probably 1 million of these made, and there's probably 1,000 of these made, something like that. So realistically, that's going to be a lot easier to get, a lot cheaper to get, and if you have a bit of technical savvy and can do a bit of work to it for the price, this is, price per value per dollar, this is the better helmet by far. If money and budget really isn't an obstacle, then this guy is the better helmet, because it's just that much more detailed and accurate. And if it's going to be something that you're displaying on a shelf or something like that, this guy's the clear winner, because it's basically, it looks like it came straight from the movie. That being said, because it's fiberglass, this is more of a shelf display helmet. I'm not saying you can't wear this out to conventions and you can't do whatever you want to do with this, but this guy is going to be, the Hasbro one's going to be a hell of a lot more rugged. If you drop this on the floor, it's going to bounce. If you drop this on the floor, if it's not carpeted, you're going to break that helmet in half, because it's, like I said, it's fiberglass, and it's extremely hard and rigid, but it has no bend or flex as a result of being so hard. So if you drop that, like if you drop it and it hits right here, this section is going to shatter. If you drop it on the side, you're going to end up getting, a huge crack going right through here. So this is not a rugged, durable helmet that you want to be wearing if you're going to go out and duel somebody, or, screw around or roughhouse or something like that. You're not going to throw this in the backseat of your car and just throw all your other stuff in there on top of it and expect this to make it, because most likely the next time you grab this guy, it's going to have something broken on it. So that's another side, that's another plus for the Hasbro that makes it much more realistic, rugged, durable, versus better looking, fancier, more screen accurate, more finished, more polished, but more of a shelf display, shelf queen type of helmet. So that being said, that's the main differences between the two. Otherwise, they're both great. They both look really good. They're both, excellent helmets that you can wear as part of a costume, and no matter which one you're wearing, it's gonna get the job done, and everyone's gonna be impressed. They're both extremely nice helmets. The other main, I guess the last main thing, is if you're into customizing and upgrading, this guy, you need to do a lot more work to this guy, the Hasbro, than you do the Anovos, but you also have the ability to do a lot more work to this guy, the Hasbro, than you do have the ability to do on the Anovos. And that's because the inside of this helmet has a lot more room in it. Like I was saying, the Anovos has padding, whereas this guy doesn't. This guy is plastic, so the helmet itself is much thinner. If you look, it's probably a 1/16 of an inch thick plastic, whereas the Anovos is about 1/4 of an inch thick. Yeah, just about a 1/4 inch thick fiberglass. So just the thickness alone gives you a lot more room to put things inside of this Hasbro helmet. So as a result, both of these are customized and fully hooked up and installed with voice changers and speakers and whatnot, whereas this one has room for a 3.5 inch driver that I installed into it right behind the forehead section here. There's a couple of little vent holes for the sound to come out. This guy does not have any room for a speaker. There's simply no room in here for a speaker whatsoever. I mean, you could squeeze a smaller one in here, but there's no sound venting. You don't want to start drilling holes in fiberglass because you're liable to crack it. Plus, who wants to put a hole in this helmet? It's far too nice and too expensive to be doing that kind of thing to it. So, yes, there's enough room to put in a voice changer and a microphone, and a battery and a recharge port and a switch, but no speaker. There really isn't any room, nor is there any good place to put the speaker. It has to be on the front end, or else the sound isn't going to come out like it's your voice. If you put it on the backside, the people behind you are going to hear you, not the people in front of you. And if you put it on the front end, then it has to be shielded and blocked enough from the microphone that you don't get, crossfeed or backtalk or whatever it's called, where it just screams and squeals and makes horrifying noises at you, and it's totally unusable. So the solution that I came up with for this guy is this is a 2.4 gigahertz wireless transmitter, and voice modifier, you get your voice in through the microphone, the box modifies it, sends it out to the wireless transmitter, which then relays that same signal out to this 30 watt 3 inch amplified speaker, which is actually a really nice one. Turn it on for you guys.
Speak mode.
So right now it's on speak mode, which I guess means you're speaking into the microphone, but you also have
Bluetooth mode.
Radio mode. So you can listen to the radio on this thing. Awesome. It's a Bluetooth speaker. Awesome. So you can use your phone or your device or whatever and just listen to music on this portable thing. Or you can use the microphone setup and have the modified Kylo Ren voice that you're talking through the microphone coming out of this guy, and you can just put this on your belt or whatever under your costume. And as long as put it on a lanyard through these hoops and hang it around your neck, put it under your shirt so it's coming out of your chest. So as long as it's on the front end, the sound is going to sound to other people like it's coming from your helmet. So, the sound is not an issue. But the inability to put a speaker into this helmet it's a minor drawback. It just is. Ideally, when you build a custom prop with electronics, you want it to be self-contained. You want one battery, one switch, one item. You don't want to have multiple batteries that need charging. You don't want to have cords. You don't want to have multiple switches. You don't want to have multiple devices that need turning on and synchronizing and everything else. With this guy, there's one switch right there. You turn that on, speakers powered, amplifiers powered, voice modulators powered, microphone is powered, everything's powered. This guy, the best I could do, turn it on, everything's powered up, except you have to have the separate speaker and you have to turn that guy on too. So at the end of the day, it's not a huge deal, but in a perfect world, I would want all my custom helmets to be more like this guy, where it's all self-contained. You don't have to worry about charging two different items, before you go to the convention or the party or Halloween or whatever it is you're doing. You don't want to have to make sure that both things are charged up. You just want to make sure this one thing has been plugged in and charged and ready to go. But other than that, I'd say, all things being equal, these guys are pretty much on equal footing as far as quality goes. I mean, aesthetically, it comes down to what you like. This is a bit shinier and newer looking. This is clearly the more weathered item. This is clearly the slightly more realistic item, but both look great. Both work great, and both are going to get the job done. One is going to be more rugged and less expensive. One is going to be a little less rugged and a lot more expensive, but you know, you get what you pay for in the looks. So I guess that's really all I've got to say about that. Kind of a long-winded, you know, expostulation of nonsense, but hopefully it's, you know, valuable to some of you guys out there who are interested in getting one of these. I'm going to do 2 more quick videos going into detail on both helmets, you know, coming up next. And as always, thank you guys for watching.